So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Apologies, I am late. Something came up and I just could not get out of it. But here we are. And this is the team that Unai Emery has picked. And he's thrown a bit of a curveball. He's brought in 3 central midfielders. If you think that that's the way that they're going to play, or 4, I suppose, really, if you think that's the way that they're going to play. In McGinn, Kamara, Tielemans, Onana, with Rodgers and Rashford playing up top. I think it's very possible that he could be going with that box type midfield again. Kamara, Tielemans, Onana, McGinn suggests that, but also what it suggests is maybe Tielemans is pushed further forward into that 10 position. Maybe it's McGinn that's going to play from the right, Rodgers from the left, Rashford is going to play up top. Maybe what that does is Rashford is going to play up top. Maybe what that allows us to do is to drop back into instead of going in a bank of 6. In front of a bank of 6 in front of our 18-yard box. Maybe this allows us to create our bank a bit further up the field, because last time, and I watched this back in the PSG game, and it was difficult to get from back to front during the game when we did have an opportunity. And maybe he wants to create that wall before you get to our 18-yard box, maybe a small bit higher up the field, so that we can maybe break and get past them and get around them, especially if their fullbacks go further forward. The reinforcements or the cavalry gets to come from a deeper or a more elevated position, as opposed to having to break their nuts coming from a deeper position. Potentially that's the way it looks. Maybe it could be that box midfield. Or maybe he's done something bonkers and he's playing Kanza, Pau and Kamara as a back three with Cash and Dino pushed up forward. Who knows? I think that once again, I'm always going to say that with a team selection like this, I know obviously it's going to be polarizing in the chat. Some people will look at this and go, why have we changed our structure and our system? And I think realistically, the answer to that is the reason that we would have changed if we are changing our structure and our system, is we're going to be more compact in midfield. And, maybe this is the system he wants to play to chase the game. A game that we're 2 goals in deficit in. And look, I suppose, once again, as I always say with team sheets, he'll be proven right or he'll be proven wrong in about 2.5 hours time. So we will see this. And look, as I say, we've gotten a lot of bodies in here. We should be able to stop that passing motion from the Neveses, the press from Neves, the press from Vitinha, and those guys in there in midfield. Fabian Ruiz won't have as much time on the ball. If we've got 4 central midfielders in around there, maybe playing Rodgers and Rashford in a staggered type formation with Rodgers playing off the striker there as well. Maybe that allows him to then roam into those spaces that the fullbacks do leave, because God knows the fullbacks leave tons of space in behind. Like, that was one of the big glaring things, that PSG are that good. And it's interesting because City did it, was it last year, the year before? They didn't care. They just let their fullbacks ramble up the field as far as they want, because they were so good at locking down that midfield area. I don't think this PSG team is as good as locking down that midfield area as Man City were. And I think that Villa should be able to get in behind those fullbacks again. They did it in the first game. And I could see us doing it again in this game as well. The substitutes as well, I haven't even mentioned them, but Robin Olsen, Sam Proctor, Disasi, Mings, Matson, Bogard, Barkley, Bailey, Asensio, Ramsey, and Ollie Watkins. And I think, a lot of people, I'm just looking at the comments here, scroll past, and a lot of people are saying that, disappointed for Watkins, that it was a case that, potentially Watkins could have started this game and so on. Watkins will get minutes in this game, and if Watkins has the impact on this game as he did on the game at the weekend, I would go so far as to say that Aston Villa will be a very happy team. A hungry Watkins, like people have said, oh, Watkins starts, is he going through the motions, is his head somewhere else? We've had those comments in the comment on podcasts. I don't know if that is true, what people are saying, and I'm not denigrating anybody who says that. But what I am saying here is that you can only say that Watkins looked hungry at the weekend when he came on. You can only say that everything he has said in interviews afterwards about wanting to break Gabby's record, about wanting to force his way back into the team, shows a hunger from him and a kind of that pissed off nature that you want from somebody who's been dropped. And Unai Emery has said that there are faces in this dressing room that are a bit glum and down because they want to get back in the team, not because they're pissed off at not being selected at him and that they're downing tools, but because they're so mad to get back into this team. And you don't have to look any further than probably Ollie Watkins for that, because you saw what his goal meant to him at the weekend. And everything he said in interviews afterwards were, I want to get back into this team, firing this team forward and breaking Gabriel Igbonera's record for his own for his own point of view. So I think that's really look, as I say, it's a team that is full of very, very good footballers, and will be interesting to see what comes of it when those when this team does line out, when they take the field and when the whistle is blown. Be very interesting first 5 minutes to see how they do line up. I see a couple of you guys saying here saying that potentially Onana might play a bit further forward. I would be surprised if that was the case. I see Bladnator saying that Onana in the 10. I'd be surprised if Onana was solely in the 10. And what I mean by that is if Onana was to play in the 10, like we've seen Asensio play in the 10, or like we've seen Rodgers play in the 10 this year, Onana's going to play in midfield, and his role is going to be box to box. I think he's going to be allowed roam forward, but whether he's going to be the person who stands in the actual 10 position will be interesting to see. So that's definitely something that we'll be looking out for. And if he does play in that 10 position, and Rodgers plays on the left, McGinn plays on the right, that's going to be a really interesting dynamic as well. It's not against the realms of possibility. Onana has played, when he first came into the Everton team, he did play as more of an elevated midfielder, playing closer to the strikers. I think he came on against us where Diego Carlos did his Achilles tendon. I think that's where he was brought on. He was brought on to play like the Tim Cahill role for Everton, playing off the striker. If I'm not mistaken, that's where he played. And he got onto a couple of balls down the channels, and he looked really dangerous against us for 18 or 20 minutes that he was on. And I think after he came on, I think that's where they put the ball in across the box, and Luca Dean knocked it into the back post. And we went from 2-0 up to 2-1, and it was a nervy finish to the game. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility here that is where he plays. And look, if we unearth somebody that can play in that position as well, and we have more fluidity, and if we have more coherency, I suppose, in midfield than we did in Paris, that is a massive positive. Like we don't, well, I won't speak for Paddy, and that isn't a dig at Paddy, but I won't speak for Paddy because he's not here. And myself and Paddy do sometimes disagree on things. I don't try to go out and always try and be right with my team selections. I don't go out and try and be right with anything I say about Aston Villa. But what I do try and do is try and put a contextual slant to it. Try and see maybe why certain things have been done. And that's kind of the yin and yang that myself and Paddy might bring to it. Sometimes, Paddy shows his disappointment at stuff, and sometimes I don't, and people give out to me. I'll tell you, like what game was it? After the Brighton game, I'd say I had about 5 or 6 DMs from people calling me a prick because I was overly happy was it the Brighton game? I can't remember. It was one of the games recently anyway, whereby, it was the Forest game. No, it was the Forest game when they came back at it. And that's the yin and the yang of it. And I'm not saying woe is me, but I'm just saying that that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I don't know what way the team is going to line out, but I'm excited to see why. I'm excited to see the permutations here. And I'm bloody excited because Aston Villa have a massive brass ring in front of them here that they can grab in the Champions League. And once again, as I said in the first leg, if Villa beat Paris Saint-Germain and knocked them out of the Champions League, this is global news. It will be global headline-grabbing news if Aston Villa do that. Aston Villa, little old Aston Villa, or big old Aston Villa. You know what I mean with regards to that. I'm not shunning Aston Villa in any way. Obviously, I know how huge they are, but the media will see the David versus Goliath story for what it is. And Aston Villa are in with a puncher's chance here tonight. Massively in with a puncher's chance, regardless of whether it's Rashford or Watkins up top. We park those conversations for nights like today. We park conversations about, oh, I want this and I want that. We have the team that we have. And either you're going to sit at home and you're going to support them like I will be, or you're going to be like Paddy and you're going to be in the stadium and you're going to be roaring your guts up. I'll be roaring my guts up here as well. The common goal for us and the 11 players or the 20 players that are going to have the opportunity to affect the game tonight is we all want to win. And we all know how big this will be for the club. It would be absolutely huge for this current incarnation of Aston Villa to get where they want to get to, beating a team of the stature of PSG, making sure, that Aston Villa are kept, their name is kept in lights in Europe this year. And that man in the picture is a massive, 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 it will be a massive catalyst in this game. If he can keep him out at that end, I am a lot more confident that at home we can score 2 goals and bring this title wherever we want to bring it. He keeps him out, whoever is up top. If they make a substitution, bring Sam Proctor on up top and he bangs 2 goals, I couldn't give a rat's about who scores them as long as they're scored. And that's why, and every single person there in that team is going to be exactly that way. And we will celebrate the living daylights out of this if Villa do triumph. And they can triumph. They absolutely can. I put out a tweet as well today. It was my own stupidity. I didn't get it. It wasn't on Twitter an awful lot. I didn't get checked Twitter. I was extremely busy today, just putting the final things on the wedding plans for the weekend. And I put out a tweet and I came back to about 40 notifications and I realized I forgot to put the word impossible in quotation marks. Because people in the media, the Rio Ferdinands of this world, they could end up being absolutely right, but the foregone conclusion conversation that they're having with regards to this game, I think is very disrespectful, and I think it's something that they should know better about. And it's something that needs to be addressed, and something that I will always fight back on. But my tweet did come across as me telling people it was impossible, and I meant to put it in quotation marks. But that's what it is. People don't think we can win this game today. Those players believe they can win this game today. They came out swinging straight away after the Parc des Princes. That showed a level of mentality. You can call it politics, or you can call it, gaslighting if you want, whatever way you want to call it. But to me, it showed the mentality of this team. Get them back to Villa Park. Would it be great if it was 2-1? If it was 2-1 here, I'd be 60% confident that we go in, we win this game tonight, and we would win it and go on to beat PSG, because I think that would have been a huge result for us. 3-1, it is what it is. These players still believe, I still believe, and I know everybody here in the comments still believes, that Aston Villa can go out and give a good account of themselves, and hopefully will go out and win this game tonight. And that team is an interesting team. I can imagine Luis Enrique sitting inside in the dressing room going, geez, I didn't expect that. No. In his best Catalan accent. And he's saying something to that effect inside in the dressing room. And it is a bit of a head scratcher from the point of view that we've put players in there that are playing on form at the moment. Onana had a brilliant game at the weekend. You just can't leave Kamara or Tielemans out. John McGinn is playing really well at the moment. Structurally, he's probably the most structurally sound player within this whole team. And Unai Emery loves him, and love him he should. He may not be the most skillful, spectacular player, but the effort he puts in from a structural point of view is absolutely huge. Then you've got Rodgers and you've got Rashford up top. Can we get in behind them? If we've got Rodgers a bit closer to Rashford, can we get runs on these 2 centre halves? Yes, they've got Marquinhos back. I presume I haven't seen their team. And they've got Pacha in there. You can still get at these players. Marquinhos is, I don't know what age he is. I'm going to check it up now, but I'd imagine he's close enough to my age. So Marquinhos is, he's not. He's 10 years younger than me. He's only 30. Jeez, he's been around forever. I thought he'd be around 33 or 34, Marquinhos. But still, regardless, we've got a lightning fast striker in Marcus Rashford, who knows where the onion bag is. And we've got one of England's up and coming midfielders in Morgan Rodgers, who also knows where the onion bag is. So this game could be anything. It could be 4-0 to PSG. It could be 3-1 to Aston Villa. But what I tell you what it will be exciting, and I think that this is going to be a game that hopefully will live in the annals of Aston Villa Football Club for a long, long, long time. I think I have where am I? Where are the comments? There they are, guys. Richard Edwards says Dibu 7 every penalty. Which is it would be great. I'd love to see it. I don't know my take on penalties, but I'll take anything at this rate, for sure. Where are we? Jonathan Gledall says stay in the game into the second half, then make some big impact subs to top and to go up top and go at them. I think that will definitely happen. I think that will really, really happen. Textrat says it's games like these we miss the Abbey and Bailey duos. We need speed today. Hopefully we can make these passes more accurately and take control of our chances, I presume. I'm not sure that the pace that added. How am I going to put this? Because Leon Bailey last year and Diaby last year were quite effective, and that there's no taking those away. But Leon Bailey of this year isn't as effective, and I agree with you. Getting pace in behind them is paramount. But the way that they're going to put their two fullbacks high up the field, which they will do, they don't know any other way of playing football. Luis Enrique doesn't know any other way of playing football, and he's bloody good at it, and they're bloody good at it as well. And why would you when you've got a brilliant midfield like they have? I think that normal pace will do. If that makes sense, I think that normal pace will do, and I don't think that Rodgers or Rashford are any slouches either. I think they will be the ones pulling to the side, to go down the channels, and will be as equally as effective. Because even when we had Diaby and Bailey there as well, there was always only one centre point in the box and an oncoming midfielder. And with the setup that we have here tonight, that still is the case. And potentially we will see that on-running midfielder rotate between McGinn, Tielemans, Onana, whoever needs a break there. The only consistent, I'd say, in that midfield is that Kamara will play more in a defensive role, as we all know, as is the case with him. He's one of the best in, I go so far as to say, he's one of the best in the Premier League, if not one of the best in Europe at that role as well. But tonight's going to be bloody special. It's going to be special in Villa Park. The scarves out. I presume there's going to be pyros out the wazoo there as well. I presume the belief. I believe that in the belief, and I believe in the crowd and what they're going to do tonight is going to be something special. I think this is going to be one of the loudest games you will hear across your television set in the whole of 2025. If you're watching it at home, and I would say if you're in the ground and if you've got small kids with you, protect their ears, because I think this one is going to get loud. And imagine how loud it's going to get early if we score early. And fingers crossed that is the case for Aston Villa tonight. Do you guys want to start popping in your predictions there, and we'll try and get you guys gone by 7:30 so that you can get yourself sorted out and settled before the match as well. But thanks so much everybody for the comments. I do apologize for being late as well. As I say, there's some things you just can't get out of, and I wanted to come on here and do this as quick as I possibly could. So apologies for my tardiness. Hopefully, listen, if my lateness gets Aston Villa a win today, I'll be late for every single podcast I ever do, and it's just going to be a thing going forward. If that's the good luck charm and the omen that we need, well, hell, I'll definitely do it if that is the case. So there are some scores coming in here. Mike Kane is going with 4-1 Villa. I would love it. Dream Villain's going with 3-0 Villa. 3-1 says Richard Edwards. Dick goes with 3-1 as well. David Dams is going 3-1 win on pens. Oh, sorry, Dick was saying win on pens as well. Naomi's going 3-1 win in extra time. Credo's going with 3-1. Scotland Raz going with 2-0. Andy Hitty's going for 4-1. 2-0 says Ross. Gas Hawks is going for Malin winner with Garcia Cross. Can see it. Come on. Well, if that happens, I think think UEFA will be very, very interested if that happens. Put it that way. Western says 2-1 Villa on the night, but last not good enough. Junior says 2-0. 2-2 says Carrick Bennett. 3-1 says Villa. 2-0 CO Production says 2-0 to Villa, and they win on pens. Mike Brosnan's going for 3-2 after penalties. Pete Tandy's going 3-0. 2-0 for Bladnader, 3-0 Derek, 3-2 Boohoo, says Dicky, 2-0 win on pen, says Spricey. Mr. Pong says 3-0, 3-0 full time or 3-1 extra time. Rasa says we cannot win 3-1 in extra time, lads. If it's 3-1, the tie is a draw and goes to penalties. That is true. 3-0, why not? 2-0 says Stephen White. Shout out to Cloda, says CO Productions. 3-1 says Standing on the World. 3-0 says Rob Henry. Noel Connaughton has changed his chant from do not concede early to do score early. I love it. That's the positivity we need. We've broken Connaughton. I love it in a good way. We've broken him in a good way. Osgerm is saying 3-1 to PSG. Absolutely probably more plausible and possible than some of the other scores. Declan Bagnall says 2-1 to Villa. 3-1 says Aaron Cunningham. Where else are we? 3-1 says AJ's TV. And that is the last one. 3-1. I can't see it, boys, but maybe miracles can happen. Absolutely, miracles can happen. Listen, if you want to take any solace from miracles happening, the fact that there is nearly 600, 700 people watching this podcast is a miracle in itself, considering I completely forgot to even put a link up for it earlier on, and I was 25 minutes late. So, as I say, one miracle has happened already. They say miracles come in threes. So hopefully another 2 miracles happen in the game, and they're both for us, that bring us to a positive result and ultimately on to play either Arsenal or Real Madrid in the semi-final. So thanks so much, everybody, for everything tonight. What will be in the next 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, and we will be back on time with a post-match podcast, win, lose or draw. And listen, guys, as I say, until that final whistle is blown and until a scoreline either goes for us or until the scoreline goes against us tonight, well, then we're still a Champions League team, and this team is going to behave and going to play like it, and I'm going to be damn proud of them regardless of what happens. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching and for listening. This is a very rambly one. I didn't have any time to think about anything I was going to say here. Didn't even go through the PSG team. Actually, let's do that before I go. Let's put up the PSG team and let's just look at it. Because why not? Where are we? Yes, gee, what are you doing? Here we have it. So they've got Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, Barcola, Dembele, and Kvaratskhelia, whose name I've been practicing, are in there. So obviously Barcola coming in there on the right-hand side in place of Doué, and obviously Marquinhos coming in there instead of Beraldo. On the bench, they have Safanov, Arno, Tenas, Kimpembe, Ramos, Lika again, I can't read who that other person is. Hernandez, is it? Yes. Mealu, Doué, Beraldo, Zaire Emery, and Mbaye. So, yeah, so they've basically more or less got the same subs bench, save for the people who've been flipped in and flipped out there for this game. So, yeah, a formidable task, but a task that Unai Emery has his team up for, and hopefully we are going to be victors in this one and go on to face Real Madrid or Arsenal, but we'll know in an hour and 20 minutes' time. Until then, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy. Remember, Champions League, Aston Villa, roar your guts up if you're at home, and if you're in the stadium, do likewise, and we'll see you again directly after this game, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.